All right, going back to your calls, my final point on the loser spirit that some people still have out there, the sense of defeatism. The globalists are slick criminals, and they're good at feeding on people that don't have a lot of information, people that are lazy, people that are weak, people that go along to get along, people that buy into slick corporate hype. But the globalists are threatened by strong, focused men and women that know the truth and will warn the people. And now, every time we stand up, we win. The problem is we can't get people to stand up. People don't see themselves as leaders. I get thousands of emails every month saying, oh, we're glad you're there doing the job. No, folks, I'm just one person in this fight. That's what's so beautiful about We Are Change and the Tea Parties and other groups that are out confronting Gore and all these other globalists everywhere they go. People should be confronting Schwarzenegger everywhere he goes. They should be confronting all these other climate change fraudsters like Newt Gingrich. It's on both parties. And the left-right paradigm where they divide us into two parties and make us fight with each other and make us think the power structure ends with the president, that mirage is coming crashing down right now. So the media plays up these gate crashers for a week and a half who went to the White House and got into that party to make it look like, oh, getting into the party is the greatest thing in the world. Oh, getting to meet with the president, meeting with the God. The establishment, I told you, would build up Obama and then destroy him and then bring in somebody new and build them up and destroy them. It's theater. Let's go to phone calls here. John in Texas, you're on the air with Bob Chapman of theinternationalforecaster.com. Go ahead, John.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Bob?
Yes, sir.
One time I think you said that you knew Leon DeGrelle.
Very well.
Could you explain a little bit about him? I read his book, Campaign in Russia, and the guy was really a brave soldier. Really, it's really an excellent book on the war on the Eastern Front. And I guess he said he told you a few things about World War II history and post-war Europe. I wonder if you could elaborate a bit on that.
Well, I don't think this is the right time to do it, but Leon was a very well-read gentleman. He was an attorney. He was the head of the Rexist Party in Belgium. He was a reporter. He was an eloquent speaker, although he never learned English. And we always had to converse in French or in German. And his exploits during the Second World War as a soldier were second to none in any army. And he was a survivor, and he was a very nice man.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bob.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk to Alan in Kentucky. Alan, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for opening my eyes to so much. And I have so much anger at these people because I've had a very good life. I'm in my 60s, and I appreciate everything that this country has done and given to me. But I'm afraid that my children and my grandchildren are not going to have it as well as I did. So I'm one of these old fighters in this info war, Alex. I've bought many of your movies. I've made copies of them, and I want to tell those people out there who have this defeatist attitude, it's not going to happen. Things are going to probably get tougher than they are. I'm very scared, a little bit afraid now that as we push the New World Order into a corner, and I think we have pushed them into a corner, that they are going to become more desperate.
But at least it's on our terms. How many years have I explained that when they announce their plan, there'd be a huge awakening, and it's not going to be all roses for these people, but at least we don't just lay here and let them carry it out the way they want. We make them escalate. We make them fight. We make them come out in the open.
And because of you, Alex, we know their game plan. We know what they have in their repertoire. We know what the possibilities are, and we can prepare for that. And I do have one question that I'd like to get Bob's take on, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
And all my life I've paid my taxes, and I've never cheated on my taxes, and yet I'm feeling very conflicted about that right now, since I know exactly where that money is going. And I think a lot of Americans are coming to that same conclusion. And I'm not advocating this to anybody.
No, but record numbers are not paying now because they know, as Ronald Reagan's commission showed in 1981, not one red cent of your income tax money goes to run the country. It all goes to the private banks. Go ahead.
What would happen if a large number of us came to that same conclusion? That's what I'd like to know.
Bob?
I think historically, about 32% of people who own their own small businesses do not file at all. And that figure, I understand, has now risen to 38%. And if this thing keeps on going the way it's going, it's probably going to go up to 60 or 70%. And these people aren't captive because they own their own businesses. But there is a groundswell of people who are saying, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm not going to pay them, and there's millions of us. And so if I get caught and I have to go up against the government, well, I'm willing to do that. And that's what's happening, and I can understand why you're questioning what's going on, and it's a good time to do it. I mean, the people who work in companies, they don't have that luxury. They receive a paycheck and they take everything out and then they give you what's left. But private individuals who have their own companies, they're in a different situation.
Yeah, I appreciate your call. Let me make this point. That's your decision to make. People are going, well, how do they fund the government if it isn't the income tax? It's all the hundreds of other taxes. And when you read what the UN says and you read what the federal government has stated, they want a global carbon tax system that's going to be on an ID card with your carbon credits. And when those run out, more taxes will kick in, not just taxes on each item that's passed on through the manufacturing process or through transportation and at all the other points of all these taxes that are added, but they want it so they can track what you're buying, what you're doing, and the system under Homeland Security, and they've stated this, will be you won't have a job, you won't get on a plane, you won't buy a gun, you won't be able to buy anything unless you're in good terms with the federal government. That's what the New World Order cashless society is all about. So they're racing to put that in place. We have to really stand up against them now and slow them down, because once their cashless control grid's in place, it's going to be a lot harder. Correct, Bob?
Absolutely. And this is part of world government, and that's what they're headed for. And all the defeatists out there are willing to accept that. Well, Alex and I are not, and you aren't, and most of the audience isn't, and that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to go after them. We won't wait for them to come to us. We're going to engage them, and we're going to attack them. And you know something? We're going to conquer them.
Let's go, because, see, once the system is fully discredited, they stage terror attacks, it won't work. They start new wars, it won't work. I mean, they're getting so discredited that when they attack myself and others now, people go, oh, Alex must be good, they're attacking him. I mean, there's a certain point where people don't buy anything they say or do. Let's talk to Alan in Kentucky. Alan, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I doubled that. Mike in New York. Mike, go ahead.
Oh, how you doing, Alex and Bob? Excuse me. Yeah, I've been listening, and I heard that caller, and, you know, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go out. I'm going to do what I can, too. And, you know, if it means handing out DVDs to people, which what I've been doing, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever I can to help wake some people up. And it has been, you know, I have been having, you know, an effect. People have been seeing the DVDs, and they see what's going on now clearly, and a lot of people, they've been making copies and handing it out to friends and people that they know, and that's the way you do it. I mean, you have to do something, and you know, if that's one effective way to do it, then let's do it, right?
In the Homeland Security literature, they are so angry about my films and other films being duplicated and handed out, because the lie has to be reapplied every day. Once somebody sees the truth, they already knew most of it. It suddenly makes sense. The mind is unlocked. It only takes one dose of a Fall the Republic or Obama deception or America Freedom to Fascism for somebody to really wake up. It only takes one dose. And that's why they're punishing people. There's an article up at prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com. America Freedom to Fascism star Sherry Jackson, IRS agent, is being murdered in prison right now. And we've got her letter about how they're killing her and not giving her a medication. They want to let other federal agents know that if they come out and admit that internally the IRS knows they work for the private Federal Reserve, they know of their own people. You know, there's a famous photo that my parents brought back to me from East Germany after it fell, but it's a famous photo of right after they closed the wall back in the 50s of a little toddler. His parents had gone through, he got caught in the wire, and an East German soldier comes over, untangles him, the parents are begging, and he gives the child to them. They took that guy and tortured him to death, but he saved a child. He's a real man. And that photo is very famous in Germany today. And so just like they're torturing her to death, they tortured him to death. And because they want to punish their Nazi forces. They want, when one of their forces does the right thing, they want to throw him in the deepest dungeon or kill him. Everybody needs to call. We have the phone numbers up there, and let these criminals know that we know they're murdering her. Bob Chapman.